Alright, so let's look at some rules about communicating the results of an LCA study. When do you need to have your LCA critically reviewed, and how does that work in different cases? If a life cycle assessment is conducted only for internal purposes, for example for supporting decisions or product development activities, there is no need to have it critically reviewed by a third party. This allows you to do quick and dirty LCAs when you need. However, if you want to communicate the results of your LCA externally, critical review is recommended according to the ISO standards. And there are some specific requirements for what the report of an LCA study needs to contain in order to fulfill the requirements of these standards. If your LCA is a comparative assertion, which means you want to show that your product is as good or better than a competitive product, then the ISO standards require that you have a critical review performed by a critical review panel. Now we will look a bit closer at both of these cases. Okay, so let's move to the case of external communication. If you want to communicate the results of your LCA study externally, but the LCA study is not a comparative assertion, then the LCA should be critically reviewed by a person external to your LCA study. One thing to note still about EPDs is that they are governed by EPD organizations, so-called program operators, such as, for example, EPD International, which require verifiers to be approved by them. So in that case, the rules are a bit stricter about who the verifier can be. For a regular LCA that is not an EPD, it is enough that the critical reviewer did not participate in conducting the LCA study. If you're doing a comparative assertion, now there are more things that you have to do and more things you can't do in your LCA study itself. And also our critical review process is more complicated. The critical review of a comparative assertion, where you make claims about your own product system compared to another of a competitor, is also quite a bit more complex. It should be conducted by a panel of minimum 3 people, including the chair of the panel. According to the standard, what happens is that the organization commissioning the LCA will hire the chair of the panel, and the chair will identify 2 more people to add to the panel.